met her in the fall. He took her to a movie, and when they done it all.
Hello and welcome to the Fabulous Picture Show. I'm Amanda Palmer. This week we have a special program about a charming, world-famous movie star who's become a charming, world-famous political activist. It's George Clooney.
Help get these refugees back at home and living their lives in peace. Just smile, Loretta, so you don't look like you're being held up.
Now, do we all agree that what we are dealing with is vampires?
I'm not a miracle worker, I'm a janitor.
In December 2007, George Clooney opened the Dubai International Film Festival, an occasion that was doubly significant. George Clooney's a great guy to have around, especially if you want him to lend some credibility to your film festival.
Last time I was here, they were just starting the film festival.
But there was another reason George was here, and it wasn't to plug his film.
A film like Michael Clayton, as good as it is not the main story. And he's obviously come here as part of his ambassadorial role. He's come here because he's interested in the region.
And it's a great place to sort of find places that you can cross cultures where we haven't been able to.
On the red carpet and at his earlier press conference, Clooney fielded any and all questions.
Oh, what's the real meaning of terrorism? I don't know. You know, I've seen it be the poor man's battle, and I've also seen it be extreme and unkind.
For an hour, he discussed everything from U.S. government policy to his advocacy work.
What I've learned over the last few years is if you have the ability to go somewhere and people will follow you with cameras, then you have a responsibility to be very educated on the subjects that you're going to talk about. There's, 15 countries in Africa that are in trouble. The one that we felt years ago was not getting attention was Darfur.
The appeal for him was going out there and engaging in that dialogue with people from the region about a problem which exists in the region, and not enough is being done in the region to tackle it.
It's about life and death issues that are going on now.
For my interview with George,
Finding my way around.
I also had the unusual freedom of being able to discuss anything.
Amanda, I'm George.
Let me ask you about today's press conference, because that was interesting for me. I think 3 questions were asked about Michael Clayton, and the rest were pretty political.
Yeah.
Weren't they? Were you prepared for them?
Yeah, every time I do overseas film festivals, I think ever since, a couple of things happened. I was very vocal about the war before the war, which got me in trouble. And then the double whammy of good night and good luck at Syriana. So I was suddenly okay, let's get him in trouble and see if he'll say something.
Do you sometimes feel a little stereotyped by this, though? I mean, you now are Mr. Crusader. I'll talk politics hard and fast. I'll talk it anywhere. I mean, today you were very careful to make sure that you clarified that you were not calling your president a terrorist.
I'm not going to come to Dubai and call the President of the United States a terrorist. That's not my goal. I've been very careful about the idea of talking politics. The one thing I've learned over the years is that you have to be very careful as an actor, because you could actually harm people. I support Barack Obama for president, for instance, and he's asked me time and time again to come out and campaign, or his people have asked. And I said, that I actually do you harm, you understand, an actor campaigning for you. My father ran for Congress and I didn't campaign for him.
You raised money for them, though.
Yeah, fundraisers are different, though. Fundraisers you can do, and you're not sort of suddenly, you won't be bound by the news shows as your policy and his policy or something.
Yeah, but the Conservatives get upset that you don't fundraise for them.
Well, you're right. But, they seem to be doing fine with their fundraising.
Clooney's politics have led to a long and public feud with Fox News' Bill O'Reilly.
Now, I'm mocking Clooney because he is the epitome of far-left lunacy. He despises conservatives. He wants...
And it doesn't endear George any more to conservatives when he makes successful films that criticise the US government. 2 years ago, as you said, you were king of the castle, Syriana, good night, good luck. And 2 years later, Iraq films, a lot of American filmmakers went, this is great, the tide is changing. Right. And the American public went, are you having a laugh?
Right.
We're not going to watch these films.
Well, the reason is, if you want to know the honest-to-God truth, if you look at the films that were made, they weren't very good films. It was brave in 2003 when we were getting these things made, because the war was at 80% popularity.
Now it's 75% against.
So it's a little easier to make stuff that's against. But if you're going to do it, it has to be good. Hollywood is a very interesting world. They will make any film at all. If Paradise Now made $200 million, they would make films about the happy terrorist forever. You know, I mean, Hollywood is very much, it's very simple. It's just green.
It's not easy making money in Hollywood with political films, but somehow Clooney can pull it off.
I look like I'm negotiating.
Perhaps because he's better than anyone at the Hollywood schmooze.
Listen, Al Jazeera is in big trouble now.
We're not going to talk about politics though this time, all right?
Exactly.
It's completely entertainment. They can't hear a word we're saying though,
Barely.
unfortunately, and that was a good excuse to get near your ear, but anyway.
Like it.
He knows that when you're the likeable, funny guy, they're going to be more receptive to your advocacy. It's good to see you here. You know it means a lot to the people here, don't you?
Yeah, it's fun for me. It's fun in general. We have a lot of things we're trying to do here in this region, on other levels, and so it's good to be here.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, we're going to try. So good to see you.
Now, George Clooney didn't start out as a globe-trotting activist. In fact, he didn't even start out as a movie star.
Dr. Ross. Hi, Tracy Young. I'm your third-year student.
Well, hello, Tracy Young. It's nice to meet you.
George inherited those famous looks from this man, Nick Clooney, his father. A pioneering broadcast journalist in the 50s and 60s, Nick started taking George into the studio at the age of 5. And George's mother, Nina, is a beauty queen turned small-town politician.
I have a great interest in the political world because my father ran for Congress, my father was a newsman, my mother was a mayor.
George Clooney comes from a political family, in a way. They're known as the Kentucky Kennedys.
For a while, George wanted to be just like his famous dad and studied journalism at college. But he dropped out to follow the path of his aunt, Rosemary Clooney, one of the top vocalists of the 1950s and the family's first superstar.
Love, you didn't do right.
George started out as her chauffeur.
In 1982, I moved to Los Angeles from Kentucky. I thought I'd go to California and be an actor, and then I did a lot of very bad plays for a long time and was very, very bad in them.
He also scored some small parts on TV.
Now, I don't care how old you think you are, mister. It's time for lights out.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Jackie, watch carefully as I put the game.
And he was so popular on the hit show Roseanne that they asked him to stay.
Booker, did you get that infection cleared up?
But George turned it down. He wanted to be in the movies.
It'll take more than that to scare me. Ha! How about this hand grenade? That'll do it.
I was lucky I didn't get famous early because I was really, really bad. But all of those sort of steps lead me to here.
His breakthrough came in 1994 as Dr. Doug Ross, the emergency room Romeo, on the top-rated TV drama ER.
I was young. I was a fool.
You're still a fool.
He became an overnight star and he was making lots of new friends.
Okay,
Aren't you a little cute to be a doctor? I mean, God, young, I meant young. Yeah.
George appeared in 108 episodes of ER before bowing out for good in 2000.
The only reason that I have a career at all, as successful a career as I have, is because of ER. There's no question about it. That's the only reason.
I can't stay here.
Not even for me?
I can't.
The phenomenal success of ER opened the doors of possibility for George Clooney in Hollywood.
Good night.
Here's how you gained cool cred as a film star back in the mid-90s.
What did I tell you? What did I say to you? I said, buy the roadmap and leave.
You partnered up with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez's loopy little vampire flick, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Welcome to slavery.
No, thanks. I already had a wife.
After his cult success, George needed a role that screamed A-list movie star. So he signed on for what would be the worst Batman film ever.
You're not the only one who can set a trap, Venus.
Sorry, my vines have a crush on you.
why would you ever do Batman and Robin? And, you know, people love to sort of apologize for him and say, you know, God, why, don't even bring it up. The truth is, it was a big break for me.
Hey, freeze. The heat is on.
Clooney held his nose through Batman and Robin, then hooked up with director Steven Soderbergh and Jennifer Lopez for Out of Sight, an ideal showcase for his boundless charisma.
It may only happen a few times in your life.
Or once.
Or once.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round.
Three Kings, set just after the 1991 Gulf War, was Clooney's first film with some political bite.
Three Kings, I thought, was talking about situations that no one in America was talking about at the time, which was saying, let's remember that these people are all human beings and that there's a cause and reaction for everything.
Hugely entertaining, Three Kings also showed how America's hasty withdrawal left those Iraqis who openly opposed Saddam twisting in the wind.
We lost a man for you.
What good is it if you leave us here to be slaughtered? Huh?
When the Coen brothers cast him as the hair cream-obsessed, semi-eloquent escaped con in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, Clooney's film career was firmly on track.
Were you otherwise trained in the metallurgic arts before straitened circumstances forced you into life aimless wandering?
At this point, George Clooney is a bona fide movie star, a world's sexiest man, and even his pet pig is now famous. In part 2, we'll see how the pretty boy actor achieved true political significance.